In a remote region of South Asia, there lived a girl named Rabia. From childhood, she had been very lively and mischievous. She had a very fair complexion, long hair, and was extremely beautiful. As time passed and she grew older, discussions about her marriage began. That is, when a series of strange events started. Before this, there had never been any sign of anything unusual or paranormal in her life. Her family had not noticed anything, and Rabia herself had never mentioned anything to anyone. So everyone assumed everything was completely normal. But the problem began with a very strange occurrence. Whenever a prospective groom's family came to see her, on that very day her fair complexion would suddenly turn dark. Her face would show a helpless and lifeless expression. As a result, no one liked her. Strangely, this did not happen just once or twice, it happened every single time. And the day after they left, everything would return to normal again. At first, her family took it as something normal. But when the same thing happened 7 or 8 times, they realized something was definitely wrong. They then took Rabia to 2 different paranormal healers. However, none of them could identify the cause of her problem. In this way, 3 to 4 years passed. Rabia's age reached around 26 to 27. The situation became such that sometimes marriage proposals were arranged without even seeing her, because someone might have seen her earlier in her normal state. But in the end, for one reason or another, those marriages would also fall through. One afternoon, a wandering fakir came to ask for alms. When Rabia herself came out to give him something, the fakir stared at her intently. Then he said to her mother, "Haven't you sought any treatment for your daughter? She has a very unusual condition." Her mother, surprised, replied, "Yes, there is a problem, but we cannot understand what it is. Can you tell us anything about it?" The fakir shook his head and said, "No, I cannot say anything," and then left. After that, their life continued as before. But since it was becoming impossible to arrange her marriage outside, and her age was increasing, the family was forced to make a difficult decision. They decided that they would no longer try to form relations with outsiders. So, the family decided that they would arrange her marriage within their relatives. With that in mind, Rabia was married to her cousin. This decision was not delayed. Everything was arranged and completed within a very short time. When the wedding ceremony began, just as Rabia was about to give her consent, something strange happened again. Right before she could speak, her face suddenly turned dark, her body went numb, and she started trembling in front of everyone. She realized that something terrifying was happening to her once again. Gathering all her strength, she forced herself to complete the simple act required for the marriage, and, just like that, the marriage was finalized. But after that, even more disturbing events began. One night, her husband, who was also her cousin, noticed that Rabia was not in the room. At first, he thought she might have gone outside, as bathrooms in rural areas are often located outdoors. But when she didn't return for a long time, he went out to look for her. He searched everywhere, but couldn't find her. Soon, the entire family woke up and began searching, yet she was nowhere to be found. At one point, they heard a faint groaning sound coming from a tree. When they shined a light upward, they saw Rabia lying on a thick branch of a mango tree. With great difficulty, they brought her down. Similar incidents kept happening. At night, she would somehow leave the house without anyone noticing. Sometimes she was found near the pond, sometimes behind the house, always unconscious. Her family tried everything, leaving no effort undone, but no one could understand her condition. Eventually, they found a skilled paranormal healer. After examining Rabia, he said that she was under the influence of a very old and powerful jinn. He explained that this entity was not easy to confront. It rarely revealed itself or communicated, and its presence was strong enough to cause such disturbances. He also added that this was why ordinary healers had failed to identify the problem. The healer then began his work. He made repeated efforts to bring the entity into Rabia, trying for hours. Eventually, he succeeded, and the jinn manifested through her and began to speak. It told a long story. It said that when Rabia was around 13 years old, she had once visited her aunt's house. Beside that house stood a large tamarind tree. This was where the jinn used to live. One afternoon, it saw Rabia there, and from that very moment, it became attached to her. The jinn claimed that it loved her deeply and would never leave her. It revealed many other details, though not all of them could be clearly understood or remembered. After much effort, the healer was finally able to drive the jinn away. He then instructed Rabia to follow a specific spiritual routine every day without fail until the birth of her second child. No matter the situation, travel, illness, or hardships, she was not to skip it even for a single day. Only after her second child was born could she stop. Sometime later, Rabia gave birth to a son. When the boy turned 5, she became pregnant again. Throughout those years, she continued the routine diligently, and after the jinn had been driven away, she did not face any problems at all. As time passed, the family gradually forgot about everything that had happened. However, when she was about 6 months pregnant, due to various physical difficulties and the passage of time, she became less strict with her routine. Slowly, she started neglecting it, and that is when the events began again. Her second child was eventually born, and until the birth, nothing unusual happened. But Rabia had already reduced her practices, thinking that the problem was gone for good. A few days after the birth, one night, she went outside to use the bathroom. As she stepped out from the veranda under the tin roof, she suddenly heard a sharp knocking sound, kotok, kotok, coming from above. She turned back to look. On the tin roof, she saw a terrifying figure sitting there. It had made the noise to get her attention. The figure spoke to her, saying, "I wanted you for so long, but you kept me away all these years. Tonight is your end. You will not remain in this world." Hearing this, Rabia froze in fear. She had never clearly seen such a presence before. This was the first time she witnessed it with her own eyes. Terrified, she tried to go back inside her room, but the figure was sitting right above the roof, and to enter, she had to pass beneath it through the veranda, something that required immense courage. After much effort, Rabia finally managed to get back inside the house. Once inside, she no longer heard any sounds from the roof, nor did she feel that anything was there anymore. However, she did notice one thing: it felt unusually hot around her body. As she lay down, a light drowsiness came over her. Her husband was not at home at the time, as he had been living abroad for several years after their marriage. On the night this incident happened, he was still overseas. As she drifted into sleep, the feeling of heat grew stronger. Suddenly, she noticed that the entire room was lit up. When she opened her eyes, she saw that the clothes she was wearing had caught fire. Strangely, there was no fire anywhere else. The bedsheet was untouched, and her 2 children sleeping beside her were completely unharmed. Only her clothes were burning, and she couldn't understand how it started. Panicking, she jumped off the bed and began running, trying to save herself. In such a situation, a person loses normal sense and running often makes the fire spread even more. After struggling desperately, she managed to get out of the room. As she rushed outside, she collided hard against the tin wall of another structure in the yard. Hearing the loud noise, the family members rushed out and found her in that condition. They quickly poured water over her. About 25% of her body had been burned, though thankfully the upper part was not severely damaged. By the grace of Allah, she survived that incident. However, she suffered from the burn injuries for nearly 2 months before eventually recovering. But the story did not end there. One morning, Rabia was found dead. It was believed that she had died sometime during the night. Her body was discovered behind the bathroom. After her death, her eyes were found wide open, as if she had seen something extremely terrifying just before she died. What exactly she saw, no one could ever know. It was a deeply heartbreaking incident. This story was shared by Omar Farooq, who had heard it from his friend. That friend's cousin was Rabia herself. Her married life lasted roughly from 2001 to 2008, and it was around the middle of 2008 that she met such a tragic end. Zubair Rahman Nihad, the story was sent by an elder brother, and that elder brother's father had 2 brothers and 6 sisters. Among them, his father was the youngest son. So, his father used to study in a big city. After finishing his studies, his father got a good position job in a well-known company in that city. His grandfather was somewhat wealthy, so after his grandfather passed away, there was quite a lot of land and property. Those were divided among the family. The better and more valuable lands were taken by his uncles and aunts. Since his father used to live in the city and did not stay in the village, the lands that were a bit jungle-like and located toward the more remote areas were given to his father. After receiving those lands, his father thought that he could not stay in the city forever. At some point, he would have to return to the village. Because of this, he decided to build a house in the village. When his father started clearing the jungle and began the construction of the house, some strange problems started to appear. For example, when the workers would go up or down using the stairs, they felt as if someone was pushing them. During the time of building the basement, there was a temporary stair-like structure made to go up. While using those stairs, they said something used to push them. It wasn't that they got severely injured after falling, but they did feel those pushes, and the iron rods that were installed there, if someone moved them, they would make a rattling, clanking sound. That kind of sound was often heard. Also, at night, sounds of multiple people moving around could be heard, because the workers who were working there used to stay at the site during the night. They were the ones who mainly heard these things. As these strange sounds continued, the owner of the house was not present there. As he stayed in the city, there was a head mason there who worked with many laborers under him. His name was Selim Kokan. He was in charge of everything and was quite experienced in his work. So, Selim Kokan was responsible for the overall supervision. Some workers would stay and some would leave. One night, Selim Kokan was there alone, and no other workers were present. They had all gone back to their homes and were supposed to return the next morning. The next morning, when the workers arrived, they saw that Selim Kokan's body was buried under sand from the head down to the waist. A pile of sand had been kept there for construction work, and his body was stuck inside it, with his legs from the waist down sticking out. Seeing this, everyone became terrified. No worker wanted to continue working there anymore. For several days, the construction remained stopped, so the person who was building the house came from the city. Later, an Islamic scholar was called, and the place was spiritually sealed. After that, no more problems occurred. Within some time, the entire construction of the house was completed. After that, the family members started living in that house. And the person narrating this story was the only child of his parents. His room was located in one corner of the house, and his parents' room was after passing through the dining room. In his room, he used to notice that sometimes the mirror attached to his wall would suddenly turn black. He used to think it was just his imagination. One night, he saw in a dream that near his feet, a pitch-black shadowy figure was sitting. The moment their eyes met, it let out a loud, terrifying laugh and in an instant jumped onto his chest. Then it started pulling out his hair, strand by strand, with one hand. It was pulling his hair, and with the other hand, it was tightly holding both of his hands. He couldn't say anything at all. Suddenly, the black figure jumped off his chest and disappeared through the window. He woke up and heard the Fajr Azan after getting up and turning on the light. What he saw terrified him. He noticed that the exact spot where the figure had been sitting near his feet in the dream, there were some ash-like black substances lying there, and on both of his hands, the ones that had been held down, there were marks like black soot. But what scared him even more was that he noticed some patches of hair missing from his head. He searched his entire room carefully, but couldn't find those hairs anywhere. Around 11 in the morning, he shared the incident with his mother. His mother told him that since it's a new house, he should recite prayers before sleeping, keep the door slightly open, and never turn off the room light at night. For the next few days, nothing unusual happened to him, but after that incident, his sleep became very light. After several days, one night, in a half-asleep state, he saw that his father came and turned off the light of his room. He started thinking, how did his father suddenly come here? He was supposed to be in the city, and why did he turn off the light? While thinking this, he suddenly saw that same black shadowy figure sitting again near his feet. Then suddenly it grabbed his leg and pulled it so hard that he fell off the bed in one jerk, after falling to the floor. The black figure again jumped onto his chest. He was struggling to breathe because of the pressure. This time, he could clearly see its face. He saw that the face of that figure was burned and half-rotten. After seeing this horrifying sight, he couldn't stay conscious anymore. He lost his senses. When he opened his eyes, he saw his parents sitting beside him. His father had actually come home that very night. His mother said that after hearing his scream, they rushed into his room and found him lying on the floor. Then he told them everything that had happened. Hearing all this, his father became deeply worried, because something terrifying had happened to his son before as well. Before this, Salim Kokan had already met a tragic death. So, after evening, he called an imam from a nearby mosque. The imam, through his spiritual understanding, explained that there were two powerful and dangerous jinn present in that house. Originally, they used to live in that place, and they were followers of evil forces. But he said that he would not be able to deal with them. Then he recited some prayers, blew over the place, and gave them an address. He told them to meet a certain person as soon as possible. Following that address, the owner of the house met that person the very next day. After meeting, the religious healer said that he had some very urgent work, and it would take 3 days to complete. However, to prevent any problems during these 3 days, he gave them blessed water and instructed them to sprinkle it all around the house and inside every room. He said he would return after 3 days, exactly after 3 days. The religious healer came back, and then he said the same thing again, that there were two powerful jinn in the house. and they were followers of evil forces. He also mentioned that they used to practice dark rituals in isolation and had become quite powerful over time. But when the house was built there, it started creating obstacles for their rituals and practices. Because of this, they became angry at the family. Even after repeatedly trying to scare them, when Selim Koken did not stop the construction work, they eventually killed him. In fact, they had been waiting for the right opportunity for a long time. On the night when no workers were present, they murdered Selim Koken, and after the place was spiritually sealed, they became even more furious. Because they could no longer continue their unfinished rituals, this is the reason why they started creating problems for the members of the house. And on that night, the same night when the boy fell from the bed, if his mother had not entered the room shortly after, he would have also died later. The religious healer asked which room had the most disturbances, especially when he entered the boy's room. He closed the door and stayed inside for a long time. The family members were waiting outside, but they had no idea what he was doing inside. After nearly an hour, he finally came out of the room. When he came out, he had 2 plastic bottles in his hands. He said that he had trapped the 2 jinn inside those bottles. They refused to leave the place, so he had no other choice but to imprison them and take them away with him. He assured them that there should be no more problems after this, and truly, after that, no more strange incidents ever happened in that house, even till now. They are living there peacefully and in good health. This was the incident. The story you're about to hear wasn't experienced by the person who sent it. It actually happened to his father. The time was long ago, around 1975, somewhere in South Asia, in a remote village far from the noise of cities. Back then, his father wasn't married yet. He was young, a little restless, and had an intense obsession with one thing: cinema. But there was a problem. His family was not financially stable. Life was hard. His father and grandfather both worked as day laborers. The money they earned after long, exhausting days was just enough to keep the family running. Luxury was out of the question, and going to the cinema was almost impossible. But obsession doesn't go away that easily. So, he found another way. Not his own work, but by helping others. He tried to earn a little extra money. His cousins and some local friends were better off. Their families had plenty of rice stored at home. They also loved watching movies. And to fulfill that desire, they came up with a strange plan. They would secretly steal rice from their own homes. Then they would bring those sacks of rice to his father, because if they carried the rice themselves, their family members might notice. And that's where his father came in. He would carry those heavy sacks on his head and walk all the way to the market. After a long walk, he would sell the rice. From the money earned, he would get a small share. That small share was his ticket to the world of cinema. This is how things went on. And then, one day, after earning some extra money from this work, he made up his mind. No matter what, he would go watch a movie that night. The cinema hall was far away. In Olap, it would take nearly 1.5 to 2 hours to reach there on foot. Because back then, things were not like today. The roads were rough, and transportation was almost non-existent. Still, that night, he set out, driven by nothing but his desire to watch a film. On his way there, everything felt completely normal. He watched the very last show of the night, and by the time it ended, it was already around 2 a.m. As he stepped out of the cinema hall and started walking back home, the night felt unusually deep. In a village, 2 a.m. is not just late, it's silence at its peak. Even now, people in that village go to sleep after 10 p.m. He walked for quite a while. It was a full moon night. The surroundings were dim, yet visible under the pale white light. On his way back, there was a graveyard on the right side of the road. As he kept walking, he slowly approached it. And then suddenly, he noticed something strange. A few men were carrying a dead body on a stretcher, passing right in front of him, heading toward the graveyard. Seeing a funeral at such a late hour shocked him, because in villages, burials don't usually happen this late at night. They are either done in the morning or shortly after the evening prayer. He felt confused. Maybe something unusual had happened. Maybe that's why they came so late. The men walked past him silently and disappeared toward the graveyard behind him. After taking a few steps forward, he turned back. But there was no one there, no men, no body, nothing. For a moment, he stood still. He thought maybe they had already entered the graveyard. But was it really possible to disappear that quickly? Trying not to overthink, he continued walking. A little further ahead, something even stranger happened. A cat appeared, circling around him. It kept coming under his feet again and again, almost as if it was trying to trip him. No matter how carefully he walked, the cat somehow kept getting in his way. And each time it let out a sharp, unsettling cry. Now he was truly scared. Without thinking any further, he suddenly started running. As he ran, it felt like a storm was building behind him, like something unseen was chasing him through the night. His heart was racing. He ran as fast as he could, for as long as he could. Eventually, he came close to his home. From there, it would take about 10 more minutes on foot. If he followed the main road, it would take longer. So instead, he turned right and started running along a narrow path through the fields. He just wanted to reach home as quickly as possible. But then, under the pale moonlight, he saw someone sitting in the field ahead. This time, his fear reached its peak. He thought, maybe whatever he saw near the graveyard had followed him here. Maybe it had taken the form of a human dot. In his mind, he accepted the worst. This might be the end. I won't survive tonight. Terrified beyond control, he let out a loud, desperate scream. At that moment, the person sitting there suddenly stood up in shock and shouted, "Who's there?" Gathering what little courage he had left, he replied. Because now, under the moonlight, he could finally see clearly the man sitting there was someone familiar. He was a known uncle from the village, a friend of his father. His house was near the main road. In fact, he had come to guard his field at night, and was simply sitting there when all of this happened. The man in the field was just as startled. For a moment, even he thought maybe it was a ghost standing there. But then he realized it was his friend's son. And on the other side, Rakib Hazen's father had also been terrified, thinking the same thing. Anyway, after a few moments, the fear slowly faded. The man asked, "Son, why are you out here so late at night?" Then he explained everything. What had happened near the graveyard, everything he had seen. Hearing this, the man said in a calm voice, "Don't be afraid. Come, I'll walk you a bit further." He walked with him for quite some distance. After a while, he pointed ahead and said, "Look, your house is almost there. I won't go any further. You can manage from here." "I'll head back now," Rakib's father thought. Yes, he was right. The house was very close now. What could possibly go wrong? So the man left. Now he was walking alone again, about 100 meters before reaching home. There was a house still there, even today. As he passed by it, he noticed something strange. A bamboo pole was bent down across the path, almost touching the ground. Suddenly, he remembered something his mother once told him. Never step over a bamboo lying across the road at night. First, hit it with something. If it's placed there by a spirit, it will rise up. But he was so terrified, he didn't have the courage to touch it. Instead, he turned away and took another path to reach home. Assuming everyone was asleep, he didn't call out to anyone. Back then, their house was made of tin. He went inside his room and locked the door, still shaken with fear. He wrapped himself in a blanket and lay down, and then from outside the door, a voice called out in a deep, terrifying tone this time. "I let you go." He froze. His body went stiff with fear. That night, he couldn't sleep at all. The next morning, he went back to that place. But the bamboo was no longer there. There wasn't even a single sign that anything had been lying across the path. After this incident, he didn't fall sick. He remained completely normal. He didn't go to any healer or religious person either, because in villages, such incidents were not entirely uncommon. Later, he shared this story with others, and that was the incident.